Today is Saturday, August 27th, 2022. It is also day 405 of data science, and today I'm going to take this data set from Kaggle. It's called McDonald's India Menu Nutrition Dataset, and I'm just going to basically plot their distributions. Yeah, that's literally it. So I downloaded it already. So I'm going to go to this folder here, click on this file, and then just go to desktop, go to data, because that's where I have my stuff, and it's called India Menu. So I'm going to open that up and then I'm going to right click and then copy the path. And in order to read this into um, Google Colab, I'll have to do import pandas as PD. So that pandas is basically just like a data analytic library and it allows you to read in data frames, deal with data frames, analyze, clean them, and so on. So I'm going to do df, so that's going to stand for my data frame, and I'm going to set that equal to pd.read CSV. So Pandas, again, is a library that comes with functions that allow you to really easily analyze data. And one of them is read CSV, which reads CSV files. And if I paste that in there, you'll notice that at the end of the file name is a CSV. So you know that this is a CSV file. All right, and then I would just do df, so that stands for data frame, to run that, and I'll be able to see it. If I don't want to see the entire data frame, I could just do df.head, and that's going to give me the first top or the first 5 rows of that data frame. So now for the plotting, I'm going to just import seaborn as SNS, and then I'm going to do SNS dot, let's say, hisplot. And then I'm just going to plot the data frames. Let's say the first column that I want to plot in might be, let's see, energy. So I can go ahead and just paste that column in there, run that, and I should get the plot for energy. And just to kind of make this a little bit prettier, I could do PLT. Well, first of all, I have to import matplotlib for that. Matplotlib.pyplot as PLT. And then I can do PLT.title and then just set it as the energy in whatever units that is. Let's say histogram or distribution, or just distribution of energy. Of energy, right? Run that and I'll be able to do the title. And yeah, and then if I want to plot another one, I can do that also. So let's say I want to plot the total fat, I could do that also. So let me just copy that and just do a little code snippet and then do SNS dot hisplot again, and then do data frame and just paste that in there. Run that and I'll be able to see that. Right, so this is what it looks like. And again, if I want to add a title, I can do plt.title and just be like the distribution of, what was it, total fat in grams for all of the menus in India for McDonald's, right? And then that's one thing. And then another thing that I could do is, let's say I want to have these both of these charts in like one single figure. Well, in order to do that, I'm going to do plt.subplots, and I'm going to just put the figure size, and I'm just gonna do like something like 10, 4. So the width is 4, the width is 10 and the height is 4. And what this is going to return is going to return a figure, which is like a canvas, you can think about it, and then one axis. And axes, you can think of them as like graphs. So it's going to return one figure with one graph. Because I have 2 graphs in here, because I have 2 graphs that I want to plot, I need to specify that I want 2 axes. And the way I do that is by simply just saying, well, I want the number of columns that I want is 1, but the number of, 2, sorry. And then the number of rows that I want is 1, because I want 1 row, but I want there to be 2 graphs. And so if I do that, now I'm returned, what? Now plt.subplots is returning 2 axes, 2 graphs, and you can clearly see that down here. So then how would I actually access those, and how would I convert these seaborn graphs and place them into this figure over here? Well, I can first of all give them variables. So fig, and then I can do, let's see, graph 1, and then graph 2. So now, in the way that you see it here is how you can give it a variable. So if the first thing is the figure, then you can set the figure to be equal to the figure size. And then if the next thing are the two axes, which are your graphs, then you can give them names like graph 1 and graph 2. Now for the parentheses, the one on the outward is just common syntax that you have to, put parentheses. And then the ones on the inwards, right, the inside parentheses, each of pair of those parentheses represents a row. So if I were to have, like, let's say 2 rows then with like other 2 graphs, and I would have to do 2 commas and then do like graph 3 and then graph 4, and that would represent a row. But because I don't have 2 rows, I can just leave it as one, just like this. And then now I can actually access these. And so luckily for me, Seaborn has this parameter called AX, which lets you assign the graph that you plotted to that specific axis. But in order to do this, I'm actually going to have to put these codes within the same block as the figure. So that's something I really need to reinforce. So just kind of copy those 2 graphs and put them in the same block as the figure, and then just go to the first graph. If I want the energy to be my first, the energy histogram to be my first graph, then I just do comma AX and set that to the graph that I want. So if I want it to be the first graph, then I'll do graph 1, because again, that's the first axis that I set over here or defined over there. And then if I want the second one to be graph 2, I could just do AX is equal to graph 2, run that, and let's see what's wrong. X, what do you mean? Text object has no property X. Oh, whoopsies. Oh my god, hold up. Oh, whoops, that's so funny. Okay, I put it in the text instead of the graph. Okay, right here. Run that. What did I just do? Okay, hold up. plt.title, AX graph 1, data frame, energy, distribution of total fat. And then let me see. Oh, you know what? I think it's because I just have to have this first. I have to have the figure ready first before putting that stuff in. Oh my god, did I just delete it? Copy, enter, paste, and that should be okay. There we go. Okay, that's good. All right, so note, you have to have the figure and the canvas ready first before you assign the graphs, because right, if it makes sense that it gave me an error because I had the graphs before like the graphs were even defined. So yeah. Anyway. And then why isn't the plt.title showing up? Oh, right. So now here's a problem. Because these are now specific graphs, instead of doing plt.title, I can now just do graph1.setTitle, and then graph2.setTitle. Whoops, graph2, set title, run that, and then I should be able to see the titles now. It's just a minor difference, and that's literally it. And if I want to make it pretty, I can target the figure, which is something that we haven't done yet. So if I want to target the figure, I can just do fig dot set face color and just give it a color. Let me just try to see what a nice color would be. I could do green and go here and just paste that in there. And then if I run that, oops. All right, it looks green. And then I could do the same thing for the graphs themselves. So I can do graph1 dot set face color, and do the same thing there. Let me just copy this in there, paste that in there. Oops, paste that in there. Set it to graph2. What now? Graph2 dot set. Oh, double quotation marks, my bad. Run that. Okay. And then let's see, I could do like a darker shade of that color, kind of like maybe this. And then I can go and change the bar colors. And I can do that if I could just go up here in the actual graph, not like I did last time, and put it over here in the title. And then just change color and set that equal to the actual color that I want, and copy that. So it's just another parameter. Copy that and just do the same thing for this one and run that. And now I have my little beautiful graph here. Yep, and that's literally it. Yeah, that's it for today. And then obviously, like, you can see that they're both right skewed, so that's some analysis for you. But yeah, I'm gonna go now. Bye.